Welcome, everyone, to EcycloPod. I am Sean Duregger, the managing editor of Encyclopocalypse, and maybe I'll learn how to talk throughout this episode, but maybe not. We'll see how it goes. With me is the owner, the founder, the big cheese, Mark Allen Miller, who joins us.
Me? Hello, everybody.
I figured this is kind of Encyclopocalypse 2.0, as I mentioned on my last little mini episode, and so we're kind of relaunching. It's been about a year. Our last episode was with good old Richard Elfman, so check that one out. There's also one with who else did we interview? I'm awful at this, but check it out.
I think I was the Richard Elfman was the only one that I was part of.
But Joshua Milliken.
I interviewed him. Yeah, Josh was there.
Yep. I'm missing somebody, and I apologize if you were watching and I interviewed you. I'm awful. I suppose I could look it up online, but that'll waste time. Today, we're basically going to give kind of the story of Encyclopocalypse and kind of let everyone know how this got going, how Mark and I bumped into each other, how we got working together, and, you know, the kind of philosophies behind what we're doing and all that good stuff. So,
into the thrilling tale of Encyclopocalypse.
Yeah. Mark took time out of his busy schedule to join me here.
Yeah, I'm in physical pain. I'm in emotional pain. You also took time out of your busy schedule to be here. You know, we're making that's the whole thing.
Today's my day off from my day job. So every other Friday is kind of a full on Encyclopocalypse day, and so I'm like, you know, I get a taste of what doing this full time would be like someday.
Right. You know, that's the goal eventually. So we just got off a meeting with Ingram that went very well.
Yep. Yeah, that was a great meeting. They have a lot going on. And we had a hell of a time in December with Steve Barton's book, some printing issues with the hardcovers. And the cool thing is we were able to kind of talk and figure out why. And it was because during that time, because, you know, for some reason they did it when it's like the busiest time of the year, but, you know, sometimes you can't wait. You know, you just when you gotta upgrade shit, you gotta upgrade shit. So they were doing some massive upgrades in all of their printing facilities, and he was telling us about it, and we can't wait to see. He's gonna send us a little video, and we can't wait to see. But so Ingram Spark / Lightning Source is, you know, I know a lot of small publishers, a lot of authors use them. A lot of you know, there's the positives, there's the negatives. It can be kind of, you know, like pulling teeth sometimes to try to get things kind of dialed in. But for, you know, print on demand, you know, it kind of gets a bad rap. And, you know, but we, you know, well, you know, because most small publishers do print on demand because it's financially, you know, makes sense because, you know, most small publishers can't order 30,000, you know, units of a book from India or China or whatever. To stock in a warehouse. So it just makes sense for print on demand to keep going and grow and really become kind of the next thing. And that's what Lightning Source is really trying to do. They hear, you know, they hear the complaints, they hear all that stuff. And we're kind of getting on the ground floor. I feel like with this and kind of, you know, there's growing pains and everything, but I have a good feeling about it. And it kind of takes the pressure off us so we can just continue to get the books out, because with a small publisher, your distribution is always the hardest thing to come by. And there's not a lot of options for indie publishers to do that. So this has been a constant thing, you know, since I kind of jumped on board and Encyclopocalypse has been growing to really kind of dial it in. And, you know, it's always never made sense for me to stock a warehouse on, you know, and you're playing, you're gambling, you're playing Russian roulette, and Russian roulette, you know, to kind of bank on a book and be like, all right, well, you know, can we do this? So it frees us up to not really think about, well, you know, is this book going to be profitable to make our choices? We want to make the choice, like, is this book fucking awesome? Do we want to publish it? Yes. So it frees us up to kind of be in that mindset to make sure we're putting out, you know, quality stuff. So yeah, it was a really good meeting, and you know, these things take time, and we're going along with it. the first book that will have a better distribution model will be Jendia Gammon's Doomflower,
Show 'em
which
the
I
book.
showed off last
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Beautiful artwork by who?
By my lovely wife,
Oh, yeah.
Jennifer Nelson Duregger, hyphenated is her artist name. So she's like, I need to figure out my signature. I'm like, just signing your name. So it's funny.
No, she needs a fancy stick.
Yeah. So it's gonna be good. So we'll be. I don't know if you can hear my dog snoring. But my dog.
Is Charlie there? Is Charlie making?
Yeah, Charlie's
on the EcycloPod.
Let's see for the viewers. For those
Let's
of
give
you
Charlie
watching,
a cameo.
Look at you watching.
The
Oh, you got a little
official
stretch.
Encyclopocalypse mascot.
He's bored. He was chilling, but now he's like, "Oh God, he woke me up." He has a vet visit later today.
Is that why you're giving him a bath?
Well, I'll be giving the other dog a bath. And the other dog you can probably see over my shoulder is a white fluff ball. I'm trying to think, is it? Yeah, that way. So anyway, this is how the podcast will be. It'll be rambling. I don't like structure, ADHD, we tend to need structure, but we hate structure. So this is we always kind of go with the flow. But so Mark, the reason why I wanted to kind of, you and I have been trying to have just you and me sitting down talking about, what we're doing and how we met and everything. And so I wanted to kind of give you the floor a little bit to kind of, the start of Encyclopocalypse, what sparked that, you jumping into this crazy thing? Because I feel like no sane person is like, I'm going to become a publisher. We're all a little bit crazy to get into this game. So
I think that's right.
What brought that on?
So I, as you know, but some may not know, I used to be, I was formerly Clive Barker's head of development. I ran his company. And that involved everything: films, television, books, board games, haunted mazes, the whole thing. Whatever there was to develop, we were developing it. And during my time there, I made a number of friends, mutual friends who also had books. And I had learned the ins and outs of digital publishing. We brought all of Clive's books that were out of print back into print, and those were the things that were the consistent earners. Everything else was sort of, speaking of a gamble, everything else was sort of a gamble, and the publishing was just sort of, this kind of perpetual motion machine. And I kept pitching Clive on the idea of bringing on his friends. Like Mick Garris, Peter Atkins, all these amazing writers, we bring them on and create a little publishing empire. But he didn't want to do that. He only, he wanted his output to be exclusively Barker brand. And in 2016, my daughter was born, and I just couldn't do the drive anymore. I couldn't do, so many things. And so I left the company. And was just thinking about, what do I want to do? What do I want to, make going forward? And I had, around that time, the Scarlet Gospels had come out. The paperback version was coming out, and we were going to do a simultaneous release of the Scarlet Gospels with a prequel that Clive and I were going to co-write called Hellraiser: The Toll. And we initially got a deal with what do you call Amazon? What's the little ones that they do? Like Fred Stoller had one. It was like an Amazon original, a Kindle original. That's what they were called. It was a Kindle original. We had a deal with Amazon to do a Kindle original of this Hellraiser book that was going to come out the same day as the Scarlet Gospels paperback. And Clive couldn't meet the deadline. There was too much going on, and he just, he dropped the ball. And we regrouped, and Clive said, "You know what? Just write the book, and go with God." And so I found a publishing deal with Subterranean Press, who I've always loved their books, and they did a gorgeous hardcover edition of Hellraiser the Toll, but that left me the rights for, paperback and ebook and audio. And I had an idea to turn the audio into, a sort of full cast thing. So reached out to some friends. Tom Holland was the narrator, director of Fright Night and Child's Play. Casey Lansdale did a voice, Joe Lansdale's daughter, who is a longtime friend. Robert Parigi, a producer on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Tales from the Crypt. He did a voice. Peter Atkins did a voice. So there's a lot of Hellraiser blood in there. And it turned out to be really cool. And because I was no longer with the company, I didn't release it under the company banner. And because, I was this, it was sort of a test, right? So and because I'd learned how to do all of this in doing Clive's books, I opened up an Audible account, recorded the book, just went to people's houses and, recorded them. Andrew Furtado, the amazing editor of Nightbreed, the director's cut, who does killer work and is now producing stuff for Severin, like this fantastic documentary into the clones of Bruce. Awesome movie. He put it together for me, and made something really cool, and we uploaded it and just sort of shot it out into space to see if it would do anything. And it did great, and it continues to do great. And from there, Encyclopocalypse was born. I had a couple of meetings with Pete Atkins and David Bergantino, some of our earliest authors, some of our initial releases. I had meetings with them, telling them, I think I want to do this publishing thing. And it was, to me, it seemed like a crazy idea. And I wanted to get their opinions. And if they were like, what the hell are you talking about? Then maybe we wouldn't be here today. But both of them were very supportive. And I asked both of them, during those lunches, if I could publish their books. And they were all for it. Again, super supportive. And I was shocked. I don't know why. I thought I had this insane idea, and they would, tell me to buzz off. But they both loved the idea. They both, were all for it. And I just sort of hit the ground running. And from there, I reached out to all the people I knew that had books that I had gotten to know during my time with Clive, like Mick Garris. His book, A Life in the Cinema, is one of my favorite releases of ours. Reached out to him. He said yes. I reached out to John Penny and Brian Yuzna, writers of, Return of the Living Dead 3, and Brian's, produced all the Reanimator movies. And John is an amazing writer-director in his own right who, we're doing new books. He had a couple of sort of novellas out that I thought were brilliant, and I'd read in ebook form, but didn't have an audiobook. So I just sort of made this list of books I knew that were either out of print or didn't have an audio version. And I knew the people who had made them, and I could just email them directly and say, what do you say? And literally everybody I reached out to said yes. So there was
like, oh shit.
Yeah. So immediately I already had more books than I knew what to do with. But I guess that's what they call a good problem to have. And just in acquiring different rights and getting yeses from different people, it just kind of, started gaining momentum. And from there, I'm pals with Patrick Melton and Marcus Dunstan, and they wrote the Feast films. They've written a bunch of really cool stuff, and they're awesome dudes. And I was having a meeting with them about rebooting Lord of Illusions as a TV series. And they were in the middle of working on a Howling reboot, and told me, about the book and the rights and all this stuff. And at that point, I did not even know, how to get in touch with the rights holders, because they were also having a similar issue. so I just, used some Google foo and found the contact information for Gary Brandner, author of the Howling trilogy, for his widow, and her name was Martine. And I just on the drive home from that meeting, I just cold called her, and I remember where I was. I was driving on the 60 freeway, passing an In-N-Out, in Hacienda Heights. And she answered, and I could hear like a game show in the background. And we had, a very brief but very pleasant conversation. And I told her who I was and what I did and what I wanted to do with the library. And from there, like, she and I became very good friends. She recently passed away, which was, very sad, because she was awesome. And again, one of my, early champions. But that relationship paved the way for many, many other relationships, including ours, because when I got the rights to the Brander Library, one of the very first books I put up was a book called The Brain Eaters, and I put that up for audition. I was just chucking titles I had, again, into the ether, saying, I've got this. Does anybody want to narrate it? Lo and behold, you didn't even audition. I think you literally just sent me an email instead and said, I love this book. I'm about the things you guys are doing. And it was the best email ever. Because again, it was like someone was into the idea. Someone saw what we were doing. And it was like so validating and so encouraging, that we instantly struck up a friendship. And, you killed Brain Eaters. It was amazing. It's still one of my favorite titles of ours. And I think I still, Corey Macklin, right? I still send you mail to Corey Macklin, the lead character of the Brain Eaters. And from there, like, it's just been kind of a match made in heaven. It slowly as we began, because I think at that point we were exclusively audio, and then we started.
Yeah, because I was doing kind of the same stuff as you were doing with the print and ebooks and audiobooks.
Yeah,
I was, I kind of on a whim decided I wanted to do audiobooks and stuff like that, and I was for a while trying to find my footing with what I wanted to do, and horror has always been, my thing. So I was finding some stuff, and I was trying all the genres, but I also love something about, 70s, 80s, early 90s, these paperbacks that I was just like,
and that's exactly what you
fell in love with. And, and I was, going on ACX kind of, trying to find it. And I was, this was pre-diagnosis of ADHD. So I was like, in it, let's go. And talk about having too many. I took on way too many projects. But I knew what I wanted, but I would almost every day I would peruse what's new on ACX to audition for. And I saw the Brain Eaters and Gary Brandner, and I was like, holy shit. I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna hit this guy up.
You're like, this is straight up
because your name,
this is amazing.
Because your name looked familiar. I was like, gosh, why do I know this name? And, so we got to talk, and then I realized, he produced the Nightbreed Blu-ray.
Oh, that's funny.
From, Scream Factory. Yeah. And, that was I had a podcast called the Screamcast, and that was our kind of number one, we did a countdown one year, our top titles. And I was like, that release was amazing. And then Andrew hit me up. We became kind of internet buddies back and forth, here and there. And then, and I think I had heard your name on the special features or something like that.
Sure.
And it was just but it was just kind of one of those things where once we got to talking, it was just we're so into the same stuff, same kind of priorities with
all the same
wanting
shit
to find. Yeah. And if it doesn't sell, I don't know, at least it's cool.
Yeah. We had kind of our putting it out there.
Yeah. So as long as we're having fun, and that's what I was doing with the audiobooks, I was just I need to be creative. I have a day job as a desk job. It's my stable job. It's great, but I'm a creative, and I'd always done the podcast, but those kind of keep going back to the ADHD thing. You know, I was like trying to start a podcast network. I was bringing on too much stuff, and I was like, I need something that I can do that I can kind of chip away at and have fun, and that's what the audiobooks kind of came in. And then we met, and then I was like, oh, what about this book? What about this book? So I was like finding stuff, bringing stuff to you.
Yeah,
and then
you brought on Killer Flies, you brought on Silver Glass, like you kept making introductions too. So it was just.
And I saw Pete Atkins at the paperback show, that yearly paperback little convention, and he goes, Sean, he goes, you need to stop bringing projects to Mark. Every time I talk to him, he's like, every time Sean looks for books, he comes back with a project. It's like, you need to settle down. It's like, oh, I promise. I go, no new projects based on this visit to the paperback.
It's just so exciting. I still have and we have I don't even know what it is, 100 books, 50 books in the future pipeline, that in various new things, out of print things, just like it's this long. I don't know how, it doesn't even, it's bigger than the screen. But I still have a list. Like, I keep a private wish list on Amazon of all the titles I still want to do, like that's the problem. There's so much that we want to do. And we always end up, biting off so much more.
Always. And every year we're like, okay, this year we're doing this many titles. And then by the end of the year, I'm like, oh shit, we did like 35 titles. Like, what the heck?
Like, we just love
it.
It's
a mixture of yeah, but it's a mixture of kind of bringing stuff back from out of print, which those are easier to work on.
Yeah.
Less kind of hands involved. The book's already been edited and everything. So then we've kind of figured, I think the past few years, the more I've gotten on board, the more kind of finding our groove. But that's the thing, just I think being patient with ourselves and with everything. And working with the right people helps, because everyone we work with is awesome. Now there's one person going, wait a minute, am I not awesome? It is awesome.
With awesome people.
But, finding the right people to work with is what I meant to say. And knowing kind of who the kind of people we gel with, the kind of workflow, the expectations, setting expectations. So yeah, it's been fun. I don't know. I'm trying to remember how I got involved, because it was just you and I, like, oh yeah, this would be great. And then I was like, oh, Mark, I'll find stuff. Yeah. Mark will do the contracts and that stuff. I'll narrate them. Yeah. Like, that was it. And then you had got in a car accident or something. And I remember I texted you or something, and you're like, I can't move my finger or something. Like, you were just like, I can't use my hands. And I was like, oh, what do you need, man?
You're like, I've got hands.
What do you need?
Yeah, it really is that. It's just literally been, a series of stepping up. Like, something needed to be done. You offered your services, and now here you are, managing editor, podcast host, audiobook narrator,
much to my chagrin, like,
cover artist, designer.
Now I'm learning how to. I'm dusting off my drawing skills.
Social media manager, many hats.
Yeah, hopefully by the end of the year you'll start seeing some hand drawn covers. Hopefully,
right. We're bringing the whole Duregger crew on board.
Let's do it. My wife, my daughter. My daughter can be the digital painter. My wife can be the physical, like, acrylic oil painter. I'll be the sketch artist. I don't know. It's fun. Like, that's the thing, though. Like, I think we're spurred on by creativity and projects. Yeah. And yeah, we may get in the weeds, which you and I have plenty of chats back and forth of, like, what are we doing? And it's like a mental health juggling act sometimes. But it's just, we love it. It's fueled by passion.
Yeah.
And, it's one of those things where people kind of look at the company and is like, oh, you guys are making tons of money. Blah, blah. I don't want to bring up negative stuff, but there was accusations that I was some, like, corporate CEO or something.
Very,
that kind of stuff. Like, yeah,
how corporate your location is right now.
Yeah, don't you see the money? I'm just sitting on a pile of money. This isn't a chair. This
I like your new tuxedo.
Yeah. So,
So
but
what
it's
took
fueled
you
by
again?
passion. And the whole thing is like, at the end of the year, did we at least break even?
Right.
It's the conversation we always have. I'm always like, okay, do we at least break even?
Yeah,
After everyone's been paid.
that's the thing. At the end
How
of
we
every
looking?
quarter, we're like, oh God, hold
Yeah,
on, hold on for the next 3
every
minutes.
every royalty tabulation, we're both like clenching our butt cheeks. Like, I'm always like, do you have enough in the account to pay everybody?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Yes,
So
just
far,
not ourselves.
so far we have. Yeah, yeah.
Right. At the end
You
of every
send me like
quarter, you don't get
beer money
paid.
every
Like
now and then.
that's how it works.
Yep. So, no, but it's been great, man. It's been kind of a match made in heaven, which has been cool. These types of work relationships and friendships don't really just fall into people's laps that often. And it's just like one of those things for me. It's like, feel very privileged to kind of be doing something that I love to do, being brought on board to just, I mean, that's how I help out any way I can. I don't, managing editor. We were like, you need a title. I was like, I don't know. I saw that Christoph from Clash Books had like, managing editors. I was just managing editor. Yeah.
That's
So
I think I flew a couple of
do
things
that.
at you that you were like,
You were like
no.
CFO or something. CFO? What are you talking about?
Like, no.
Hell no.
You patently
Oh my
denied my attempts at promoting you.
Yeah. No, but it was one of those things where I was like, all right, how can I help you out? Where's the chink in the chains? What processes can we do? I remember when we were the royalties, it was like, Mark, how are you paying the royalties? And you sent me a spreadsheet and I was like, oh gosh.
Like this,
I literally went into just a panic attack.
yes.
Like,
Now, yeah. And that's how I forgot. That's how you took over on that, because
take it over.
Before we did the bill pay system, I was literally handwriting checks. I would print the spreadsheet out and I would cross it out, handwrite a check, stamp it, mail it out. I even have this, handy dandy Encyclopocalypse stamper for that. I don't use it as much as I used to now, all thanks to you. So, we've managed to enter the digital age thanks to you.
Yeah. No, but it's good. I mean, that's the kind of personality I am. I'm always kind of looking, how can we make this better? How can we make this more efficient? I'm trial and error. I got no problem kind of failing at stuff.
So you have made us more efficient to the detriment of your free times.
Yeah. Which has been, that's the juggling act. But it's cool because like as soon as my wife started painting, she kind of understood that passion. And she kind of understood like that juggling act because she's a real estate agent and, but she's been going to art school to kind of refine her skills.
You got to feed the beast.
And yeah. And when she started doing that, I was like, I would be recording an audiobook or something or doing some Encyclopocalypse stuff. And I would come out and I'd be like, it's really quiet in this house, and it never used to be that way, but she's out in the backyard in her little studio painting. But that's, I think that's important. I think too many people get caught up in their day jobs and don't, it's hard. The juggling act is hard and it can be stressful, but people, it's like fuel and food for me. So
for sure.
And for my wife with that stuff and for you. So it's always worth it. But yeah, you and I, well, yeah, like there are the days where we're like, I just need to sit down and just watch something. Next 2 days I'm playing video games, Mark. I can't.
First time I ever met Joe Lansdale, I learned he used to work he had a day job for a long time, working in a lawn chair manufacturing plant.
Wow.
And he would write, he would work, he would go home, he would write, submit his short stories, get published in different places. And then eventually got to transition full-time to writing, because, obviously, he's Joe fucking Lansdale. But he told me something that's still stuck with me and is, a perfect parallel to what you're saying is even when he was at the chair manufacturing plant, he still had to write, because he said if he didn't write, he would need to be on a Thorazine drip, you know. He would go nuts. So like, you have to get it out.
And I have like 2 full books in my head now that I'm starting to get that. Like, I got to get these out. So
is one of those the Wendigo book?
And other creative ideas. What's that?
Is one the Wendigo book?
Yeah, but I'm kind of I'm retooling it a little bit because I had some conversations with some indigenous folk. I had a good conversation with is it Shane Hawk about kind of that, and with that idea in the area that it takes place in, it makes sense because there is that history there. So it's just, I have it in like, all right, I'm going to do some more research and kind of either, make something kind of original. But that's, I guess, that sort of thing, but not, I don't know. I'm trying to balance that, just to kind of, cause I don't want to just, take over another people's kind of legends and stuff like that.
Sensitivity and appropriation is a big conversation in the publishing world.
Yeah. Yeah. But it is, there is literally the real area was a place where the Sioux Indians would kind of rest. And when I was living in Iowa, in the back of our cornfield, there was this kind of island of just trees, and it had never been plowed. I don't know who owned it, but it's always there. And no one has flattened it. No one has co-opted it into any sort of farmland. So we would always walk out there and find arrowheads. Like we would find arrowheads and stuff there. And so there is the history there. So that's kind of what I'm building off of. But I'm kind of trying to figure out, maybe it's an ancient evil, that helped inform those legends or something like that. But I'm kind of taking my time with it. That's, but creature, it's going to be a creature feature type thing in the dead of winter in Iowa is the thing. And then I got a comic idea that's why I'm one of the reasons I'm kind of going back to drawing school, because I have that idea in my head. So, so just it's the balancing act too. Like, you are a writer, you've been wanting to get back to writing as well. And we're both, I think, at a point now where we've streamlined a lot of processes, and we can kind of pursue a little bit of our own creative endeavors as well. I mean, the audiobooks are great. I like doing it, but I'm at the point now where I'm like, I need to actually create something and get it out of my head.
Right.
But all that is kind of informed and kind of brought me here. So it's like everything's kind of layered. It's pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
So
been cool.
So long way around for me kind of getting back to creating my house. Cause I used to write in high school and college, but I never did anything. But the thing is, like, when I was in my 20s, technology was not at where it's at now. And now it's like, over 20 years later, it's like, wow, is technology for someone like me who can really start compartmentalizing certain things and get certain things done that I just couldn't do back then. So
for all,
like this sort of thing,
for all the negative things, that are sort of happening on a larger scale, we're also at a time, where it's never been easier to make the content and tell the stories you want to tell.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool because the art class I'm taking is a gentleman by the name of Steven Silver, who I met at, I believe it was the LA book fair.
Oh, cool.
And I kind of visited. I just walked by and I saw cartoons.
Yeah, that we worked at.
He designed Kim Impossible.
Oh, no way.
And and so he had like a class. Oh, I might have a picture right here.
That's awesome.
So I met him and he gave this to me, and I was like, oh, I'll check it out. So he has like an online art school.
That's dope.
And there's all of his little, kind of characters, and it's very similar to kind of the style that I like to draw. And so I was always kind of waiting for the right time. And is that can we focus? Come on. Anyway. All right. So I met him, but he was saying, and he just recently, he does these little videos and stuff, and he was saying, in fact, I should probably just bring him on this podcast just for the hell of it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Because he was saying the way the animation industry is right now, with AI, with stuff like that, it's just fact that these large studios are trimming down their art department. You used to have like 14, 15 people do different things. Now it's down like 4. So if you're getting into that as an artist, as a creative, you need to start doing things on your own, creating your own thing and running with it, either self-publishing it and he also said the time of like big contracts and stuff is over. It's now make sure you own a share of your creation. The time of an artist creating something for a studio and you getting back end royalties or whatever, you somewhat maybe getting those rights back. Now he's saying, if you're creative, everything you do should be some sort of ownership sharing, which is what we do at Encyclopocalypse with everyone. Where it's all a
day
team,
one, absolutely,
royalty share basis, but that's where things are going because of everything. So you can worry about AI, you can worry about all this stuff, but he's what he was saying is you need to be empowered as a creative to create your stuff and get it out there. Because the old way's over, unfortunately. But we've been a little bit ahead of the curve with what we're doing, and just like we're, when we were chatting with Rob from Lightning Source, the days of this sort of printing large runs and storing them in a warehouse, and hopefully they'll sell out in 5 years, and maybe you'll make a profit someday. That's because the big 5 is separating itself and making it harder for the indies, and just with their contracts and stuff. So this kind of gives the indies, smaller publishers, an in without having to do that sort of thing. And it still can be pricey, but it's like it's all kind of changing.
Yeah.
And it's just been super interesting as I see other publishers kind of trying to get the traditional type of deals with distribution and stuff like that. But then you have like a distributor like Diamond, going bankrupt, which is insane. They were like the comic distributor.
That's nuts.
So yeah, so we're
things
kind of
changing,
I think you got to be thinking long game. I think too. We've seen a lot of indie publishers come and go, and a lot of it has been just mismanagement of money, growing too fast and not setting the table for the growth, and just going too fast. But I think you and I, we're lucky that we have day jobs, and we're lucky that we can kind of inch along at the growth of the company. But that also makes us a little more in it for the long haul. We're going to be around. I tell people all the time, I'm like, we're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing this,
which is the perfect segue for what we got coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, shit. I'm looking at the time. I was like, this will only be like a 20, 30-minute podcast. Here we go. Like 40 minutes.
We can trim down,
I don't know. Yeah, it's been interesting. Like, I think last year at this time, I had like half the year kind of scheduled already. We're a bit behind the 8 ball. Is that the right term? We're behind. We're a little bit behind with that, mainly because we're trying to get things set up with this new distribution model. And there's been, just a few hiccups, and we're kind of going there. But I'm about to start plugging stuff that is pretty much done into the schedule. But yeah, I mean, I mentioned last time, our first release of the year was the Ballad of Billy Badass by
Pat.
My brain right now.
Pat, my guy Pat.
Patrick
some Pat
Sheane
Duncan.
Duncan. Well, I am. Oh, I mentioned this book a little bit last time, this last little mini episode, but this is such an interesting book because it's Pat Duncan like experimenting with his prose and with his approach to storytelling. I wanted you to kind of give it a little more of a chat. More
very Sam Peckinpah, very 70s outlaw vibe, just a man on his own against the system, that, and the system's rigged just through and through. It's It's kind of like, Billy Jack meets Cool Hand Luke. It's it's badass, which is in the title. It's devastating. It's brilliant. The second I read it, I fell in love with it. I think Pat's an amazing writer. And we got Jude Prest did the audiobook. Jude's another one, a longtime friend of mine who's also a writer, director, creator, producer, performer, just a multi-threat. And I think it's my favorite book of January. I'll tell you that.
It's our only book of
fun.
January.
It's just super fun. It's a quick read, but yeah, it's experimental. He wrote it without a lot of fat. It's lean and mean, and it'll knock your socks off.
It almost feels very script-like. That kind of thing. Because I say that because I've just been working on what is wrong with me today? Where's the short sharp? Wait,
it's a tongue twister. Paul Kane's book.
Short sharp what? Short sharp
shocks.
No. Short sharp shocks. I wrote.
It's as easy to see as Encyclopocalypse.
I wrote in my setup as folder short sharp rocks.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, wait a minute, that's all right.
That's the horror novella you're writing about a haunted heavy metal band.
Yeah. I do have a heavy metal horror story, man.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, Paul Kane's next book, which will be revealing the cover and everything very shortly. I was putting all the final touches for him to kind of go over, but a lot of scripts. So he has the short story and then the script he wrote of the short story, and then a kind of a fun story, the story of how that came along. Really cool book. I'm super excited about it. So I was reading that, kind of my brain's been in script mode because I've been formatting and looking at all this. And then I'm, reading, Billy Badass, and I'm like, wow, it's punchy. It's there's not a lot of fat. You're almost left to your own devices and your own creativity to kind of fill in a lot of the blanks. And it's very cool. It's a quick read. And so that's the Ballad of Billy Badass. It's awesome.
Love that book.
So, and then our next book that's coming out here on the 18th is Jesse D'Angelo's follow-up to his Skinner book, which we did a special edition of. It's called Blackbirds Dance, and it's almost like urban fantasy, I guess. And there's a bit of action, detectives, and they're shapeshifters called Skinners, I believe that's what they call them.
Mm-hmm.
But he also, for each character he kind of draws his characters as part of his process because he's an artist as well. And so the Blackbirds Dance has a whole thing in the back of all the artwork he drew, and it's incredible. Like that kind of stuff. I love that kind of thing when an author is multifaceted. And so Blackbirds Dance comes out on the 18th, and we're going to be doing with Rue Morgue. I think we're going to work on a little kind of contest about it. So we'll have more information. If you're on, don't type in Encyclopocalypse because you'll spell it wrong, but buyhorrorbooks.com or click a link here, wherever it is posted. And we should sign up for a mailing list, our email list, and we'll be letting everyone know on that and socials about the contest with Rue Morgue. That went really well. We did it over Christmas. So yeah, Blackbirds Dance is great. I mean, Jesse is such a cinematic writer, and he and I'm going to be interviewing him soon. So when his book releases, we'll have an interview here with him. But he was in as a child, he was in the film Black Roses, which was like the funnest thing for me to find out. I found that's how I got to know him. I interviewed his mom, Cindy Surreal, on the Screamcast. I through that met his sister, and then she introduced me to Jesse. So the connections is always fun with this business.
That's the most metal connection ever.
Yeah. So he was in LA
Dying
and
Sheep is so good. I'm so excited to start
Dying Sheep.
reading the second audiobook of that. It's like,
Did he turn it into you?
I don't think I have it yet. I'm just like, waiting with.
Oh, okay. You're like waiting. Yeah. And
yeah.
he's writing Dying Sheep 3D right now.
Oh, the Dying Sheep series is so much fun.
Yeah, that's a fun little splattery horror. And it's a fun, like, what I like about that is he turns all the tropes on its head of kind of extreme horror.
It's like Shocker meets Final Girls, which is a match made in heaven for sure.
Yes. That's a great that's a great explanation or elevator pitch. So those are our two releases, and then we're trying to kind of get March filled in, and eventually, like, the goal is always to kind of try. I always try to be like 6 months ahead, but this it's been a bit crazy this year, so we don't have anything on the calendar yet. But
we do have
Doomflower, which I mentioned.
We have a noir thriller called The Big Breeze by Stephen Fechter, who wrote The Woodsman, the Kevin Bacon film The Woodsman, which is a really cool book. Where we've made a bunch of cool partnerships. We're partnered with Severin now. We're doing their novelizations. We did, I think, 3 last year. We did the only house, Rats, and then Virus. Those were the new releases we did with them. So there'll invariably be some new Severin novelizations coming out.
And we're hopefully we're going to be getting those 2 latest ones. That was an exclusive through Severin, but we'll be kind of doing a wide release at some point soon. So that's kind of next on the thing to figure out. It's all done. It's just we got to
very excited to show this off.
Yep.
Because we're partnering with Joe Lansdale's indie press as well. We do all their audiobooks. So, I'm editing Bleeding Shadows right now. We've done Bubba Hotep, Hot in December, Vale's Visit. We've done a lot of Joe audio. But we're also involved in their new subscription box service, which is gorgeous. Art by Tim Truman on the front there, the cute little panda. And I just want to show you, like, the bespoke boutique offerings. We have amazing limoncello cookies. Gourmet coffee. And then, they've really put like so much detail into this. A little envelope with the panda stamped on it. And, a whole, like, here is the order. Here are the books that are coming. What's in your pack? It's really like, and the design, I think, is just perfect. And I got a little, that's a hyenas postcard and every box will have a postcard. And the reason, I'm showing all of this is we have a book with them coming up too. And one of our Gary Brandner books that's been out of print for decades.
Do we want to let people know which one it is?
No, we want it to
let it run away.
Yeah, we want it to be a secret. But so this is Hyenas, and they did, because we did a 2-sided novel called our Encyclopocalypse Double Tap, and which is an idea we stole from the Ace double paperback, which is where they got the idea as well.
I need to ask them how they got past doing the UP with no UPC on the back.
They do,
because we do print on demand.
Yeah,
do they do a offset?
They didn't. It's half offset, half POD. They use 48-hour printing, which I'm going to look into for our Gary book with them. But each book also comes with a. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, I'm on the wrong side. Each book comes with a sticker. That is a signature plate that you can stick into the book. It was on a separate thing. I've added it to the book now. And then for this box, it'll be this double-sided Lansdale offering, and then this new Clay McLeod Chapman novel that isn't out yet. And I've also put the signature plate in that, and it's just
wonderful.
It's gorgeous. And then each one will have a postcard. So you're going to see our Gary postcard there, and this is the
bookmark.
Bookmark. We got
that's a really thin
postcard. Mark. This is the sticker for the Chapman novel, and then we also have an adorable pandy sticker. So
gorgeous.
Really, I mean, they're putting so much into these boxes. They're gorgeous. So keep your eyes peeled. Sign up, do all that stuff, and keep your eyes peeled for the Encyclopocalypse team up.
I'm excited. I'm excited for that.
Good people over here, Andy.
Pandy's great. Yeah, we love them. We do. So we have a lot more. I mean, we can go in detail, and it'll be like a 3-hour show.
Right.
But,
Let's keep going. We were like
Doomflower.
We were going to do a half-an-hour show.
Yeah, I know. In the next 2 weeks, I'm really hoping to have the year scheduled because I want to kind of get that on the site and get that information out to everybody, especially like, so bookstores know what's coming. But Shredder Orpheus by David Irons is coming out.
Yeah, we got some novelizations. 2 novelizations from John Penny. We're doing The Contaminated Man. We're doing Zizek's Road. Oh, and Hellgate. So there'll be 3. We're doing Andy Sedaris movie novelizations. We're doing Mark Savage movie novelizations.
Yep. Good stuff. And speaking of Andy Sedaris, Brad Carter just finished up Malibu Express. That is done. That's done. First draft done. So I'm gonna be hopefully meeting with Mrs. Sedaris very soon to help her install some script software so she can kind of get access to her scripts. But I asked Brad, I go, do you need a script? He's like, hell no. He's like, I got this. He's like, I know the movie front, left, right, sideways. I'll get the first draft done. When we get a copy of the script, we'll see if there's anything extra we'll fill in and build out if we need to. But Brad, he's incredible. I mean, he wrote a freaking,
Brad's a machine, man. You got to see the size of this thing.
Rat virus. No, I'm trying to see where did I.
So I've got it right here. Check this out. So this
you got it. These fat boys out.
So this is your standard novelization size, right? This is our Forbidden Zone by Joshua Milliken. Here's your standard 40 to 50,000 word novelization. We got.
It's gigantic. How many words was that? That was like over 100,000.
Yeah,
but
almost 200,000. I want to say.
Wow. What's interesting about those 2 specifically was he worked with the screenwriter I don't know if Severin directed it or if he just kind of went off, but it was like, what did you want these movies to be?
Yeah.
And he had those meetings and he did that. Like, what was the idea before there was any talks of budget or anything?
Because the original script was this huge sprawling epic, and Brad writes a foreword about it. But yeah, it says inspired by the original story and screenplay by Claudio Fragasso and Rossella Drudy, which ended up becoming Virus or Hell of the Living Dead. But originally it was going to be this 3-hour epic, and then they had to cut it down due to the budget that they got for it. So this is what Virus was originally supposed to be.
Yeah, so Brad's fantastic. We'll have him on the show. We'll interview him too. He's great. He's like, I'm the most boring person ever. I'm at home and I write books and I hang out with my pets and my wife.
He says he's the most boring person ever, but he also used to be a radio DJ. And when he spoke at the Severin screening where we announced, his novelizations, he had the audience roaring about his novelization of Night of the Demon because he just kept talking about Bigfoot's dick, which was hysterical.
Yep. And we'll be working on a wide release of that. We'll be getting all of his other books kind of out. We're kind of, I think what we're doing with Severin's waiting for their warehouse to be kind of out and then we can kind of, all right, there's a need for it, and then we'll get him out. But yeah, Brad's great to work with. I can see why Severin's kind of sticking with him for their novelizations.
He's amazing.
Super, very smart with how he approaches these, and he gets the vibe of them. Cruel Jaws is hilarious, but he just gets the vibe, and he gets it. So he's I can't wait to read Malibu Express, and then of course next he's going to start working on Hard Ticket to Hawaii. So those will be the first 2 Andy Sedaris books, and then we have a list. So he's kind of starting it off. And then we'll be, we have some other authors on a list that will be kind of matching up, working with, the Sedaris estate, Arlene, to figure out, kind of place the right people and the right things. Yeah. So we don't have any announcements for those yet, but he's kicking it off. And I think what we want to do is, use what he did as kind of get the vibe going. And all right, everybody get going, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, we're hoping to novelize an unfilmed Andy Sedaris film.
Yeah.
So that's we've been playing phone Zoom tag or whatever with that specific person that I want to get involved. So we'll get there. But I had this whole idea last year. I was like, okay, it's gonna be Summer Sedaris, 13 Andy Sedaris books out by June. And I was like, we'll do a Kickstarter. And I was like, here we go. And then I took my medication and I was like, this is not feasible. We can't do this.
I might have got a little
too excited. Sounds crazy. And I was like, we'll do like, we'll everyone who buys the Kickstarter will get like a thong with the Andy Sedaris' face on the front. All that stuff. Frisbees.
We get excited,
Well, and then we saw a Kickstarter from an indie publisher kind of tank and kind of go on. And I was like, okay, maybe we don't want to do Kickstarter with this stuff. We should. Let's gotta hold back on all that. But no, it's good. Yeah, this year is gonna be really great. I mean, there's so much more stuff we can kind of talk about, but we'll by the way, Chad Lusky did the cover of Billy Badass here. I want to give a shout out to Chad because I forgot to give him a shout out last time. We are working
also
on a book
a
with him
multi-thread.
Working on
author,
a book
artist
with Donald Borchers, right?
Yep. The guy that
and so
creator of Vamp,
the screenwriter of Vamp. So we have an unfilmed action comedy of Borchers that Chad came aboard to write, and we finally got that in. And what else do we got? The Incredible Bulk. We'll be doing. We have a novelization that it's in to be edited. That's in. Let me see if I need to get everyone's names right.
There's so many people now.
Well, it's oh gosh, yeah, I know. I mean, I look through our author folders, and I'm like, wow, like we have so many people. Let me get this. I want to get this right. Adam Mudman. I'm gonna mispronounce the last name. Bizek. I'll talk to Adam and get it right. I'll talk to them and figure it out. But but that's great because Adam had written a follow-up, a sequel called Return of the Amazing Bulk. And in talking to see, you're like the names person, and I'm not. I'm always messing up names.
Yeah, my brain is but I can't remember anything else. So
The Amazing Bulk. Sorry, I keep saying Incredible Bulk. The Amazing Bulk. Louis Schoenbrunn was the director, and I guess he retained the rights there. But the movie was written by Keith Schaefer and Jeremiah Campbell. But so Adam had done a sequel and worked with Louis on it and had self-published it. And then so Louis suggested I reach out to Adam, and I did, and they decided they gave us that we have a deal now to republish the sequel, Return of the Amazing Bulk, and we'll do so it's gonna be fun. I never thought the Amazing Bulk would ever have a novelization, but here we go. And shout out to Jed Rowan who kind of introduced us. It's all connected.
Yeah, there's no nothing is
a flat
lives on its own. Everything has some cool connection from one of us. Like Encyclopocalypse is very much an expression of our artistic souls in so many ways.
Absolutely. Purgatory Road by
Mark Savage.
Mark Savage. That's ready to go. Oh, not ready to go, but that's been turned in.
We've got a couple of those.
Zachary Ashford.
Marcus J. Williams,
Yep.
Who is someone who was a longtime friend from back in the Barker days. He is writing an experimental book of poetry / it's gonna be a really cool book because he's writing an adaptation of Defenseless which is a Mark Savage film that has no dialogue. It's a rape revenge thriller like I Spit on Your Grave, with no dialogue, all set to classical music. And so Marcus, who is a poet, is going to write like this really, really cool version of that, there's to sort of express it in a more unusual way, because the film itself is expressed in an unusual way.
That's incredible.
So I'm excited for that.
Man. And then, Dead Girl by Bridget Nelson was just turned in with a short story by Jeff.
Really?
By Tomato Jeff.
Oh, that's awesome. Killer Tomato Jeff. And then John Wayne Communal is also writing maybe the most famous Mark Savage film, The Masturbating Gunman, which is also maybe the best title of a movie ever. And that's gonna
right. When he said that, I was like, "Holy shit!" I was like, "That's a title." Jeff Strand, by the way. Not Tomato Jeff.
Not Tomato
Jeff.
That's not his actual name.
Well, it's not his real name, everybody. But yeah, we have so much coming down, and we're kind of, you can tell right now, like my brain's kind of going, what, and so my job within the next 2 weeks basically is to get all this kind of figured out and sent into editors we're working with and everything. And so it's good stuff. We have plenty to work on.
Big State of the Union, big announcements, lots of fun stuff coming down the.
Yep. So as always, follow us online and everything, and for up-to-date announcements. We're trying to get better. It's only a few of us, you, me, and other people that help us out. Joshua Milliken helps out quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Watt helps out quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Just a good
Angelo helps.
So many people.
Helps.
Yep.
So many people.
So we're lucky with people who kind of just jump in and give us a booster here and there.
Yeah.
So
the support is
yeah. All right.
Fantastic.
I think that's the data dump right now. And, as things go on, we'll give official announcements to everything. But, holy shit. We forgot to mention the big one.
What's the big one?
Oh, my armpits are my armpits sweating, or is that just holy cow, look at that. I'm regretting putting my little desk right in front of the window now, because the sun hits the window and it gets hot.
Let's get hot in there.
Ghoulies.
Oh,
Ghoulies. We are going to do Ghoulies books. Theo Lemasters, the screenwriter of the new Ghoulies reboot that I believe they're kind of in the financing mode or whatever. They're kind of in that mode. So I don't think they have any news on the movie front, but he was basically given the keys to the Ghoulies franchise as far as anything new goes. So we got the original Ghoulies novelization, which will be great. And then he's working on three scripts for the Ghoulies trilogy that he's written. He's turning those into books. And so it'll be fun. So the books may come out before the films. So that'll be fun. And we can do soon to be a major motion picture, like for real.
Yeah. How fun is that?
So we'll be talking to Theo for sure about that. He's great. He keeps saying, "Hit me up. I'm just at my desk all day."
But we got books, y'all.
So we got books. All right. Well, I think that's gonna do it for this episode. And there's plenty more stuff where this all came from. So I'm getting overwhelmed just thinking about it now. I'm trying not to have a panic attack.
You're watching it happen in real time. And not to keep overwhelming you, but that's not even all of them.
Oh my God.
That's just what we remembered.
Yeah. I have, this is everything. This is my brain dump the other day.
We're also doing the Last Wardens.
I'm working on plugging them into my calendar.
That's a whole other thing is
the Last Wardens. Talk about the Last Wardens because I'm retweeting, reposting their stuff like crazy.
Yeah.
Amit, right? Amit, great guy. Love Amit. I met him at one of, I think it was the LA book fair or whatever. had such a blast talking to him.
Amit is hilarious. Israeli, and I mean, every time he does his introduction, I crack up because people say Amit, and he goes, "No, you have to think about it like a meat, not a vegetable."
He said that to me.
I love that line. But yeah, he and his writing partner Elliot Spurl, they're both in animation and development. They're amazing, creative talents. They wrote a comic book series called The Last Wardens for Mad Cave Studios. We're doing the audio play, and we have partnered with Athon Books, who are the largest indie publisher in America, maybe the world. But we have, an amazing cast: Felicia Day, Anjali Bimini, Jenny D, Comic Book Girl 19, John Bailey from, the Really Honest Trailers guy. I mean, it's an unbelievable cast. And we've got distribution. We're going to be on Spotify, and, you're going to see a lot of prominent placement there, and that'll be out in the next couple of months. We're working all those details out now, and I'm building the ebook and print book, which will be released in conjunction with that, and I'll be handing that over to you.
Are we publishing that, or are we publishing that?
We're publishing
physical.
That.
Oh shit! Oh, okay, all right.
It's
okay.
It's going to be a script with concept art and stuff. Easy peasy.
Well, it's been great. I'm stoked about it. So, all right. Yeah. Buckle up. Hold on to your pants.
Hold on to your butts.
All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. Mark and I chatting. Thanks for the putting up with the bounce back. Hopefully no one got whiplash with our conversation. I think we kind of kept the group pretty good, so I'm pretty happy with that. So thanks for checking us out. I'm excited to kind of be doing this. We're 1 or 2 episodes a month. Mark and I will probably, maybe quarterly, him and I will come on and kind of give everyone a State of the Union little thing, and it'll be good.
Bring some other folks on.
But in the meantime, we'll have a lot of our authors on. There's other people who've done stuff for us, artists, editors, things like that, because I want this to be something that you can kind of know what we're doing, which is great. But also, like, I think it's important to kind of have this be, just kind of an ongoing conversation about indie publishing in general, all the stuff that kind of goes into it, because I think a lot of people just don't know, everything that goes into it. And I think the more that people understand, especially how indie publishing works, I think the better, and so hopefully, some episodes will be more resourceful than others. Other ones will be just us fucking around, which would be great. But I'm very excited to kind of to do this, and I'm happy that I met a friend in the neighborhood who was trying to get a podcast going, and while helping her out, I was like, I want to do this. So here we are.
It's reignited my passion.
So Leslie, thank you, Leslie. All right, we will talk to all of you next time. In the meantime, find us online, Encyclopocalypse.com or buyhorrorbooks.com, and maybe the socials. I don't know. Social media.
But whatever you do, keep reading.
Yeah. Keep reading. It keeps us going, for sure. All right, we'll talk to all of you next time. Bye-bye.